Peace to the earth.
It's the M.G.C network.
Blackgod Ra Allah coming at you once again.
Blackgod Ra Allah.
Peace, peace.
What's this science, Lord?
So, you know I'm all wise and civilized on this wisdom God day, all being born to born.
True indeed, true
Born
indeed.
is to bring into existence, to go from knowledge to born is the law of all mathematics.
True indeed, true indeed. Yeah, God, man, yeah. Everything is good, man. Like I said, it's good to see you. You know, I know you, getting it in, with the workout or whatever.
Indeed,
That's
the cipher, God. You got to keep the cipher complete. You got to be mind, body, spirit.
Exactly.
You understand? Then you get the financial in there.
True indeed.
You understand? You got to be all full cipher. You can't just be God here of this world, but you're not God of that world. We are gods of what? All worlds.
He's the Lord of all the
all
worlds.
Worlds, God.
Rabbil Alameen.
Indeed, God.
True indeed, true indeed. Yo, you've grown up, out here in Houston, Texas, and you've been in contact with, brothers that were in the Nation of Islam and,
Indeed.
In the mosque studying. I know you mentioned, of course, you're a 5%er, but your lessons, you originally got from, some of the gods that, have passed through the mosque setting.
Indeed.
Original, exactly.
In Temple 7.
Right, exactly. Yeah, true indeed. But just elaborate real quick, because there's been videos and there's been talk of brothers in the Nation of Islam being 10%ers. I was watching a video previous. I think it was like a couple days ago, but.
Right.
One of the elders made, a statement where he was just, mentioning how, during the time of the Father, in Temple number 7, as you mentioned, that, some of the brothers, were 10%ers because they didn't want the Father to, get out there with the lessons and teach the lessons as he, wanted to teach.
Yeah.
So kind of talk on that. Was he, when he said 10%, did he mean as far as do you think he was talking about the nation as a whole or certain brothers in the Nation of Islam?
I'm gonna say it like this. I really wouldn't look at those brothers as being 10%ers. But I would look at it like this. When you say 10%, you gotta understand the knowledge behind 10%. 10% is the bloodsuckers of the poor. Now, just because a brother in the nation will disagree with the Father from going to propagate the knowledge to the masses, doesn't mean he was a 10%er. He might have been, and like I said, I'm hypothetically speaking, he might have been like, no, that's not what the most honorable Elijah Muhammad wanted us to do. He wanted us to go teach this group of people and not that group of people. You understand? I'm not knocking the Father, all praise is due. But I'm saying this, I wouldn't call the brothers in the temple 10%ers because a certain sect or a certain few was like, no, Father, don't go out there, because they might have been, they might have didn't understand what the Father true motive was.
Right.
At that time. That doesn't make you 10% because you disagree with another God.
Right.
At all. It's not right and exact.
I kind of more so look at it as, more like 85%, as I mentioned once before when we was building on that,
I wouldn't even call it 85%.
A 10% would be someone who would want to take something and commercialize off of it in order to, for some sort of capital gain.
The thing about it too, Lord, I see a lot of these people, even the older gods who say, I had knowledge itself for knowledge God years and everything else. A lot of these gods are using this as a fad. You understand? If I recall, KRS once said the Nation of Gods and Earth is a fad or whatnot because of the same situation. A lot of gods are getting in disagreement with another god, and he'd be like, oh, you're not 5%, you're not a Nation of Gods and Earth. Who are you? Who are you to validate this man godhood? They tried to do the same thing with Dr. Wesley Muhammad. You understand?
What they do?
They try to validate his godhood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but who are you to validate a scholar's godhood? What makes you more scholar than the next? Because we all A alike and B alike, but we might not see alike.
I mean, it should come down to the lessons.
Indeed.
The lessons is, just like as Christians, their book is the Bible, the Muslims, the Quran, I mean, you know, 5%ers, the lessons. Is it in the lessons? Yeah. What does the lesson say? If the lesson says it, then let's deal with it. Let's entertain the thought. But if the lessons don't even have that in there, why are we even entertaining this idea? You know, so
what makes a righteous Muslim a 10%? I would like somebody to answer me that. Yeah. But if his own self is a righteous Muslim, what makes him 10% to you? What can you tell me about this righteous Muslim that's a 10%? Or this righteous God or whatever you want to use? What makes him a 10%? Because he disagreed? I mean, because a 10% is a strong word. Now, like you just said, if you are 85 in it, I might say, oh man, you 85 in it right now.
Right. And the reason why I said I would more classify those brothers in the Nation of Islam as being 85%, because my walks through Muhammad's mosque, you know, in federal prison, there was dudes in there that was still, you know, niggas, you know, just keeping it funky, you know. But, you know, that wasn't a majority. The majority of them brothers were very disciplined. Exactly. And I had to get my act together being around them brothers. But there was a select few that still had that niggardly mentality. The father came in contact with those type of individuals. Why? Because the father himself was a street individual. So it's like, you know, you see that and others from the street see that. So they're going to try to test you. They're going to try to, you know.
Malcolm was a street man.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so notice how Malcolm, the father, they came into contact with individuals like that in the mosque. Who was still in the mosque that had that same magnetic attraction as them, but of course the ego is what's there. I remember when I was in the Nation of Islam, I remember one time a brother was like, he was talking about another brother in the mosque, but he was just like, yeah, you know, brother, yeah, when we stand up and we salute and that, we don't have to be like robots, like moving like, you know, and this and that. We gotta. He was talking about another brother who was in the fold, and I knew he was talking about the brother after a while because I start to, you know, just see for myself, and I'm like, man, y'all, there's a lot of nigga business going on up in here. You know, I mean, granted, there's no foul nigga, F you know, motherfucker, you know, ain't none of that type, but it's still a niggardly mentality, just on a more, you see what I'm saying? So this is what the father came in contact with. This is just my beliefs now. I'm not telling you this is what I believe. Why? Because just like the elders, I came through the Nation of Islam. You know what I'm saying? In prison. So again, I don't think that it's the whole mosque or the whole brotherhood that, you know, the elder was speaking on when he made that statement. That's just me. But there are brothers in the mosque that are 85%. There are brothers in the mosque that are 10% that are looking to just take the messenger's teachings and go capitalize off of it. And then there is the 5%. As Dr. Khalid told us, in every cipher, there's a 10, an 85, and a 5. You know?
In every cipher.
You know?
Every cipher. So you can't take that face value either, because a lot of gods and a lot of earths and a lot of people from different cultures, they take stuff face value without doing the knowledge. When I was a baby in the nation, I used to ask my enlightener, why you do this? The question that's most frequently asked by the 85.
Right.
Why we do it this way? Why we studying this? What does degree mean? So I said to say this. If a person had something against the father, what he was doing or whatever, even if I had some questions about the father, something that was questionable, because I did. When, you know, when I first got into the nation, I wanted to know, well, why was the father promoting drinking? Why was he propagating shooting dice? If he came out the temple, why was he civilized here, but he wasn't civilized in this aspect? And I had to realize they would be like, well, at the end of the day, the father had to go around just like Jesus did. He had to go around those areas to free the deaf, dumb, and blind. You understand? And it was more magnetic. You understand? So it doesn't make him those guys 10%. They might have, like I said, I don't know, I wasn't in the temple then, but they might have had questions about it, but didn't convey it the way they should have conveyed it. They didn't come at the father and say, look, Father, why you doing this? Why you want to propagate to them? For him to give them a proper understanding, being as sharp as he was. You understand? That's where things might have got misconstrued.
I mean, one thing that's agreed upon within the 5% nation, you know, whether you Nation of Islam, 5% Nation of Islam, 5% Nation of Gods and Herbs, Allah's 5%, you know, whatever you call yourself, one thing that's agreed on is that we all know that in the mosque, when the father was in the temple, he was very sharp.
He was sharp.
You know, everyone agrees on that.
Yeah.
You know, he was very astute when it came on to his lessons, not just quoting them and memorizing them, but his own self-styled wisdom that was a little different from the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and that's what's made it his own unique self-style. It was a little different from the way the messenger would teach it, where he would always just propagate Muslim, 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 be a good Muslim, be a good Muslim, but, you know, the father just, God, 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 you know. And it's agreed that he was very effective with the babies. You know, he wasn't as effective with the elders when he got out of the temple, you know, because they didn't want to hear that. They were stuck in their ways. But with the children, with the youth, he was very, very effective. So my thing is, you know, for him to be that effective, you know, he had to have his mathematics had to have lined up.
True indeed.
It had to, Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Master Fard Muhammad, it had to have aligned up perfectly with, you know, what was already being taught.
The thing is, too, you gotta appeal. It's harder to appeal to a certain audience when you're looking at the elders or the older generation, my age, and youngsters, young generation, because they're everywhere.
Right.
When you're young, you're everywhere, especially at the age the father was conveying. They were like 13, 12, 17, God. So imagine having so much magnetic that you attracted a teenager that's thinking about girls, sports, everything else besides reading books, studying 120. That's magnetic, God. Sure. So at the end of the day, for as those brothers in the temple being 10%, I disagree with that. I totally disagree with that. Because, like I said, when I think about 10%, I put the bloodsuckers of the poor.
Right.
The ones that keep our people stuck in ignorance. And I don't think no brother was in the temple keeping our people stuck in ignorance intentionally. Oh, I'm going to go out here with the wisdom book, but I'm going to keep our people stuck in ignorance. I'm going to go with this final call, but I'm going to keep our people stuck in ignorance. So when you say 10%, you got to look at the whole degree, God. You got to look at that whole degree, and before you call a brother a 10%, you got to really, you got to have some hard, concrete evidence. Where is he sucking the blood from?
One thing that's interesting in the Nation of Islam, you know, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad never really tried to hinder nobody.
Indeed.
In truth, you know, even when his son, you know, Wallace, you know, D. Muhammad, you know, the Imam, Wallace D. Muhammad, you know, he wanted to start his own sect or whatever. The messenger helped him, you know, paid money for him to go to Egypt to, you know,
said the same thing the father said. He said
the madrasas over there and study in the temples and the masjids.
There will be many nations derived from my nation. Father did the same thing. There will be many nations derived from this nation. So when you see brothers calling themselves this and that, you gotta, if it's righteous, it's righteous. You can't be like, oh, the father said there will be many nations. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said there will be many nations out of this. Jesus
in the Bible, we see the sign where he says, you know, his disciples one day see a man doing the same works that they doing. That he's teaching them, you know, to heal the blind, the deaf, the dumb, and raising the dead to life. And they was like, Jesus, look, you know, he's doing that, you know, and Jesus ain't never tell him, no, go stop him. He said, no, you know.
But our people, it's like we falling back to the 85 bag because we like, all right, Kemetic is not the right way. We're the right way. The Hebrew Israelite is not doing it right. We doing it right. The Christian not doing it right. We doing it right. If you know you God, of the universe can't let it shake you. They can do whatever they doing, but your magnetic is so strong, you're gonna attract everything.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, everything comes from you.
True indeed.
You know, so in knowing that, this is the reason why we say, you know, 5%. A 5%er, technically, if a 5%er, you know, is studying this or he's studying that, whatever he's into, at the end of the day, do you believe Allah, God, is a human being? Do you believe that the creator of this heaven and this earth is a human being? That is what our teaching is based solely on. Once somebody gets off from teaching that, then they're teaching something else.
Yeah, if you teaching a mystery,
you're teaching about a mystery God. Yeah. I don't care about who you teach that God is. If you say it's Allah the Father, if you say it's Master Fard Muhammad, if you say it's the most humble Elijah Muhammad, he's the God. I don't care who you say the God is. Indeed. Just make sure it's a human being. And it's an original human being. You know? You know?
And that's what's crazy.
And again, just to make the point, Master Fard Muhammad was an original human being, you know, in the sense of his father was a black man, his mother was Caucasian. So
if the black man is God.
Right. You know, the knowledge that he gave us was from the original nation.
Let's do it like this. Let me in a second do it like Malcolm said. If you put kittens in the oven, they don't come out biscuits. So if his father was the original man, he wouldn't come out devil.
Right.
You understand? He wouldn't come out biscuit. So there go do your dispute right there. You can dispute all you want, saying, oh, he was not original, he was half original. What is half original? If the original seed is the dominant seed. Right, the seed,
what you just said, seed.
Yeah, what is half original then?
Yeah.
It baffles me when people say he's half original. How?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, the male produces the seed. The seed comes from the man, you know, and the seed, of course, it finds the egg to go germinate itself in, you know, and the female carries the egg, you know, so his mother was just a carrier. His mother didn't even have anything to do with teaching him, as the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us. She didn't have nothing to do with it. You know, the father was the one from a young child taking him and developing his understanding.
It was Malcolm X half original man? His mother was white. No, his mother was black. She was raised by a white man. So she said, I wanted to marry and have children for the darkest man I can ever find.
Right.
After that. Right. So does that make Malcolm not fully original? You understand? Because, you know, that's what I'm saying. We will talk about Yaqub, we'll talk about the dominant seed was split from the lesser seed and everything else, but we won't talk about that when it comes to Master Fard Muhammad and but y'all would call Barack Obama the first black president. So I'm kind of confused. You call him the first black president where is he not original?
Some of them even say Clinton is the first black
president,
quote unquote.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And when they say he's the first black president, when they talk about Bill Clinton, they always use the negative connotations, like he sleep around on his wife, he listens to jazz and all this other stuff. That makes him black. Damn.
Love smoking.
He don't do nothing for the black
community. Love getting head.
Yeah, he loves smoking weed. He don't do nothing for the black community. That makes him black.
Yeah.
Because he likes to smoke weed and
under Clinton's administration, more black men went to prison.
True indeed.
Under the Clinton's administration than I think Reagan,
and both the Bushes.
Both Bushes.
Both Bushes. Facts. This is facts.
And we don't even look at these, you know, actual facts.
And if you want to learn more facts about it, read a book by Michelle Alexander called The New Jim Crow. It's in that book.
Yeah,
she breaks it down.
Oh yeah, I read that book.
You understand?
Good book. In fact,
very good book.
We got to do a book review on that too.
Sure indeed, very good book. And we'll start doing book reviews because a lot of y'all don't read.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A lot of y'all don't read.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
A lot of y'all emotional. You don't read.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You're going off. You're stuck in. You stuck on 32.
Yeah.
You stuck on 32.
Yeah.
You don't read.
Yeah.
So how can you expound on any degree if you don't read?
Yeah.
You want to argue. You want to say this person is not this or these people are not gods and this, but you don't read.
Yeah.
You understand?
Definitely.
So come on, man.
I mean, one of the things about it, you know, at the end of the day, you know, as far as, you know, I would just, you know, encourage the newborns to really definitely read. You know, read the Messenger's books. You know, the Nation of Islam, as our lessons teach us, does everything right and exact. You know, that's our goal. So if the Nation of Islam does that, then of course the 5% nation does everything right and exact. We do that because we look and we seek for answers.
I'm gonna give you some clarity. I'm gonna give y'all some advice. My advice to you, if you're a newborn, even if you are old head in the nation, sometimes old heads got to go back through triple stage darkness. You got to renew your history every 25,000 years anyway. So my advice to you is read, not only just Message to the Black Man, read all of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad books. Read all books. Then, while you studying 120, and I said that to say this, make sure your foundation strong. You understand? That's building your foundation. You understand? Don't just have a living room and a room, but you don't have no bathroom and kitchen in the house. You understand? Your foundation is weak. You're building a foundation on the cloud. You're just building a foundation off of 120. Anybody could memorize 120. That's baby, those baby steps.
Yeah.
But how are you gonna expound on 120 if I ask you a certain degree?
Right.
Who is the colored man?
Right.
And you can't expound on, the only thing you can do is give me the answer.
Right, from 1934. Right.
You can't tell me why he's the colored man. You can't tell me the origins of the colored man.
No
you
scientific.
You ain't going to the Caucasus Mountains. You ain't doing nothing.
Nothing.
You ain't even going to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad from the Message to the Black Man and talking about how he broke it down.
Or not even the science that's today. I mean, as 5%ers, we supposed to stay at the cutting edge of technology, along with the white man. I mean, because it's science. This is the reason why he's able to rule over us.
We're scientists.
We're supposed to be scientists. I mean, at least I thought that's what you know, a god was. So if we're scientists, you know, newborns gotta read. They gotta study the foundational teachings of the 120, and then of course know it by heart, learn it by heart, memorize it by heart. When you were newborn, you're supposed to memorize it by heart. Just as a baby, when you teach a baby how to count, say 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. You want them to say what you're saying.
Exactly.
Say what I'm saying, because you don't have a brain technically to even think right now for yourself. So say what I'm saying. As a newborn, we learn our lessons by heart. But by the time you've been studying these lessons for 15 years, you done had knowledge of self for knowledge power years, knowledge equality years, wisdom cipher years, wisdom power years, you know, understanding cipher years. You done had knowledge of self. Okay, if a person doesn't quote no more, I'm really more so looking at, do you understand all this stuff you've been quoting all these years? Because yeah, if you could still know, if you still know about heart, then okay, that's a plus. That's good. But if a God don't know him by heart, I'm not gonna be nigga, you don't know your lessons, nigga. Listen to the wisdom, because a God that's been studying 25 plus years, he should have some pretty good wisdom and a lot of jewels that you can get if you listen to his bill. Forget whether he misquotes something or he, you know, that's not important no more. Only for newborns. When a newborn is a baby and they have no wisdom of their own, yes. Learn your lessons by heart. Study the Messenger's books. All of the Messenger's books. And then from there, get on the science. Stay on the cutting edge. Science, you know, definitely important. So leave us with some positive words, God. You know, just something, you know, tell the baby something, man.
Like I said, my advice to the babies, we're going to keep it simple. Study your lessons. Read, read, read. Ikra. Ikra, Ikra. Read, read, read.
Yes.
Make sure your foundation strong. You understand? Build your foundation and don't build it on the clouds. When we built on that knowledge cipher degree, we asked who is that mystery God, right? Make sure it's no mystery. That's my advice to you. Make sure it's not a mystery. Make sure your foundation is strong. If your foundation is strong, it's not a mystery.
Sure indeed.
Peace to the gods, peace to the earth, peace to the righteous family.
Peace.